Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we are back again with another disturbing John George video, and this case isn't over. In the last video we've done, it was discovered that John George's body had been found. It was definitely devastating news for the friends and family, but what was important to them was finding the body and being able to take John home. The next steps for the family and the authorities is to find out who took John's life. Now, since the last video, the police have a list of suspects. They arrested a guy called Michael Malley. This is the business partner to Johnny Smith. That interrogation took place a few days ago. According to people online, two of the main suspects is Madison Allen and Johnny Smith. We spoke about them in the last video. Now, as we do know, Madison Allen cracked under the pressure when speaking to the family, and she gave details about what happened to John George and where the body could potentially be. Since then, the body has been found, but Johnny and Madison have gone on the run and haven't been seen or heard from since. In this video, what we're going to do is just give ourselves a bit more clarity on the case. Have they arrested any more suspects? And is Johnny and Madison truly the main culprits for the death of John George? Let's check this out.
On the road in front of me, there's what appears to be bloodstains, as if someone has unloaded John's body from the back of a car. And there's a trail of what looks like blood down the road. There's police have placed little white arrows all the way along the road towards the private property here. Now, John was missing for 3 weeks. His family last heard from him in the middle of December. He hadn't been heard of before his body was found earlier this week. And as you can see, the blood trail continues down the road. Whoever his killer was, seemed to have been able to carry him this distance and then down onto this lemon grove here, and his body was found under one of the bushes. Police haven't established a motive or who killed him, but a check man has been arrested and is due to appear in court later.
He's referring to the Michael Malley guy, but he says that he's due to appear in court. That means they must have charged him.
Whoever killed John George was in a hurry. A 10-metre trail of blood on a remote tarmac road showed where his body had been hauled into a lemon orchard. They hadn't even bothered to dig a shallow grave. His badly decomposed corpse was found on the outskirts of the upmarket town of Rahales some 3 weeks after he went missing.
That looks like it was in the middle of nowhere. What they're saying is he was dragged out of a car and potentially dragged a number of meters and is dashed under a bush. So that means the incident never took place there. Where did the incident actually take place? So this is the guy, Michael Malley, ladies and gentlemen. Suspect appears in Spanish court over Belfast man John George's murder case. So he appears in Spanish court. It sounds like this guy's been charged for murder. Family of John George have issued a statement following a meeting with the PSNI, and they're saying they want justice. So it says here, the family of missing Belfast man found dead in Spain has welcomed assurances from the PSNI that it will attempt to close the information gap with police investigating his murder. The most important issue for Billy George and his family is the safe return of John George's body. However, it does remain unclear as to when the autopsy will be concluded. Check out this video that will give us a bit more insight into the meeting that went down with the PSNI.
The family of John George have provided an update following a meeting that they had with the police service in Northern Ireland. So I'm going to go through what has been said today. So Belfast Live is reporting that despite John's remains having been found almost a week ago, it remains unclear as to when the autopsy is going to be concluded. So for those of you who don't know the story of John George, John was away in Alicante. He last spoke to his family on the 14th of December where he sounded distressed. He was supposed to get a flight back to Belfast on the 18th and he didn't make it. And then obviously his family were concerned and reported him missing. And then it was believed that John had been murdered and ongoing searches were conducted and the police found John George's body. The George family solicitor Kevin Winters has said to the press today that today we met with the police service Northern Ireland together with the family to discuss the latest outworkings of the Spanish authorities' investigation into the killing of Mr. George. We are pleased to report that assurances were given on maintaining levels of communication with Spanish police to access key information on current statuses of their investigation. One of the important things, though, for the family is when they will be able to get their son's body back to Belfast. To date, despite the recovery of John's remains almost a week ago, it remains unclear as to when the autopsy will be concluded. Importantly, police confirmed today that they will make inquiries towards seeing if it is possible to have a second post-mortem report on the deceased. They go on to say the family feels strongly about that, so the assurances given on the inquiries this afternoon are very welcome. We have learned that the police will assist as far as possible in the investigation of any links of suspects and persons of interest in Belfast. In doing so, Police Service Northern Ireland stress again that this is an extra jurisdictional investigation, so any steps of a proactive nature must, unless anything changes, be taken upon direction of the Spanish police. One of the key things that the family took away from this is that they are going to be reassured that the police are going to be acting as a go-between between obviously the family and the Spanish police, because the family to date have been unsatisfied with any information coming to them from Spanish police, and this might help bridge the gap, but we know the Spanish police are not forthcoming. We have no further information on the two other suspects and whether or not they are actually wanted, whether or not the Spanish police are actually looking for them. I've seen wanted posters for them, but I'm a bit reluctant to put those out at the moment until, the Spanish police are actively looking for them as wanted people, because I haven't seen anything official for that.
So it sounds like the George family are not trusting the Spanish police at this moment in time. They're not entirely happy with how they've managed this case. Can we say we're surprised? No, not really, because that's been the case for a number of missing people, a number of cases that have come out of Spain or that part of the world. They also want to push through with a second autopsy, again, showing proof that they just don't trust what's going on over there in Spain. What's extremely interesting is there's a few content creators online and they are claiming that Johnny Smith and Madison Allen, they are the two main culprits for the death of John George. I'm not too sure how true this is, but let's check this out.
Hi guys, so we have a little bit of an update in the John George investigation, or Georgie as he was known to his friends. So Michael Malley, the 32-year-old from Czech Republic, his solicitor has spoken out and said that actually Michael Malley was just a scapegoat after being named on social media, and that his recent friendship with Johnny actually made him a target, but there is not one bit of evidence that Michael Malley had anything to do with the murder of John George.
Interesting.
Now, we all know that Michael Malley is more caught up in this case than just that, and we know the reason he was named on social media is because of that apparent recent friendship. However, news I've been gathering from over in Spain is actually that Michael Malley was Johnny's business partner and they were really well known to each other. It's also apparent because of John George's own words to his family in the lead up to what happened to him, around the 14th of that he was concerned and he didn't trust anyone, he wanted to come home, that it was already set in motion. So more than just Johnny knew what was going to happen, although I do believe that it was Johnny who fired the shot that took John's life. There was a lot of people out there who are responsible for knowing that John George was going to die and doing absolutely nothing about it. So I would expect that once Johnny is arrested, and hopefully that will come soon, and especially Madison, Dan Meakin, a lot of them are going to bring Michael Malley straight back into the frame. And I just want to remind people that there is something called joint enterprise, which means if you all know that somebody is going to lose their life, and that's exactly what happens, or you all work together afterwards to cover up the crime, in the eyes of the law, you can be seen as just as responsible.
Absolutely, she's definitely got a point there. But what's really going on with this case? Is Johnny Smith and Madison Allen suspects? One thing we do know is John George did send that video over to Johnny Smith telling him to give him a call as soon as possible. In fact, one of the sleuths online believe that John George was wearing that white cap for a reason. That white cap was designed by Michael Malley. And for whatever reason, they believe that he was wearing that white cap because he wanted Johnny Smith to know that something sticky was about to go down with Michael Malley. Allegedly. Anyway, I want to know what you guys think. Do comment down below. Let me know exactly what you are thinking right about now. Any more news that comes out on John George, I will keep you guys posted. Make sure you hit the like button. Do subscribe to the channel if we are new. Plenty more content coming out, so make sure you turn your notification bells on. You don't want to miss out on what we've got coming out on the channel. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.